So yeah, our goal today is to present you a bit analytics governance, what it is, why it's necessary, and how we can help also with Michael. Michael is from Interworks, I'm from Wiiisdom. Maybe you want to present yourself?
Yeah, my name's Michael. I work for Interworks, and I'm on the solutions team there. Interworks basically helps clients with the entire data journey, whether it's like connecting to data, transforming it, storing it, analytics, embedding, data strategy. We basically help during that whole process. And yeah, so we're also in partnership with Wiiisdom and co-wrote a white paper on data analytics.
So the goal of today, we did a white paper on analytics governance, and our goal really of the white paper is to be sure that you know how to get started with analytics governance, because sometimes everybody got lost. It's buzz term, it's new terms, and you don't really know what is the concept of analytics governance, how you can get started at the top level, but also just in your team, how to put some good practices on this. So it's why we did a paper on it. Why analytics governance is essential? Analytics governance is important because you want to be sure that you monitor your content, you govern your content. And what a lot of customers say to us is that they have issue with critical error in report. You arrive on your analytics, you cannot take decision because you're like, no, this net revenue of 10 million, it's not possible, it's not what I get, it's not the usual thing. You can have proliferation of BI content. It's nice to have self-service and data-driven implemented in your company as a strategy, but 10,000 of workbook, I discussed with a client before, they had 200K dashboard. And at some point, you have multiple sources of truth, and you need to be sure that you know which source of truth is a single source of truth, the quality dashboard. Performance is always the thing. The more content you have, you need to put some rules, some policy in place to have good performance. And now with GenAI, it's even more important. The more content you have that is developed, the more important it is to be sure that you have good quality, good data control. Garbage in, garbage out. If you want to use Tableau Pulse, Tableau Next, and all these kind of things, you need to be sure that you govern the data coming in to be sure that you can trust it. What is analytics governance? This is something that is well known for some part of the community. It's the Tableau blueprint. We also did a survey on what our end user was thinking that what was data governance. And this was the result of the initial setup. Analytics governance, you can do a lot of things. The goal is to govern your content. Analytics content. A lot of people are familiar with data governance, data quality, this kind of thing. But the thing is, the end user are exposed to dashboard, to visualization, not to the database itself. And you want to be sure that your analytics, published data sources, Tableau Pulse, Tableau workbook dashboard are properly monitored. And this, in terms of governance concept, goes through permission and management. Anybody should have access only to the content they are using. Metadata auditing, BI content. So lineage, I want to be sure that if I modify this field in my database, I know all the content that will be impacted, that we have a common definition of net revenue, that you comply with the regulation. BI content testing is something really important. A lot of people don't know that it's possible to validate your content. Tableau dashboard, Tableau published data source, it's exactly what we are doing with version control also, to be sure that you can audit your content and you can explain to your regulator, yeah, this was the state of my analytics 2 years ago. It was validated in this way and we control our environment in this way. And you have other topic on this.
So a couple of the practical use cases. So we end up talking to clients about a multitude of different things. And we kind of see some themes emerging when it comes with analytics governance. And so the first part, I mean, you've already mentioned it. It's more about making sure that your data is ready for AI. I mean, we are going to see this more and more coming out. And if we don't have a way to at least be able to measure the data quality, be able to look for proactively for errors, we are going to miss that boat and we're just not going to get the value out of it. So this is going to be a big part of it. Another piece is the regulatory compliance. So if you're a publicly traded company or maybe you're in health and life sciences, auditability of your processes are extremely important. If we end up modifying a dashboard, we should be able to audit this. We should be able to know who did it, why we did it, and when we did it. And as well, if we see something's wrong with this, we need a way to revert back to an old dashboard. And this can be very tricky, but these are things that are becoming very important in that space. The other part about enterprise and self-service reporting, I love this one because we spent a lot of time industry-wide on data governance. You talked about that earlier. And then we started really driving that self-serve BI. Go out, create data products. The data is now available to you. We have good tools to do that. But we didn't necessarily bring all that data governance practice over into our analytics side. We didn't necessarily say, hey, we need ownership of this dashboard. And if that person leaves, what's going to happen to that dashboard? And we need some type of documentation to go along with that dashboard. These are all things that are just kind of easily forgotten and just go by the wayside. And then the last one is embedded. And this just kind of is re-emphasizing, but now potentially you're putting that more on the external side of things. Whereas before, it's internal, can still impact your business, but now you're also exposing another element to that, and that's external people. And so that's where we also need to be careful about what type of access they have. You don't want to expose the wrong data to the wrong client, and at the same time, making sure that this is certified and it's allowable to be viewed in the embedded space.
Mm-hmm. And what we provided is not what we will go through, but we have a white paper explaining all this concept in more detail on all the elements. And to get started, we did on this white paper, you will have it, it's giving you the full list on how you can get started on the different elements. How can you get started with certification? How can you get started with lifecycle management? Because it's also something that is important. When you have some content, you need to manage properly your element. So maybe just as an experience with some customer, they decided that for all the critical content of the company, C-level dashboard, operational dashboard used by a lot of users, they wanted to use our product to ensure that you can promote programmatically, cleanly all your content from dev to prod, that to go between dev and prod, you need to go through a set of validation. You cannot just publish in production. You need to show that the performance are good, the data quality is good, it's monitored regularly, that when it will be in production, you will do this test regularly to have a certain SLA on data quality, that if one day it's broken, you know it the same day, you know what is broken, what is working, and this is the kind of analytics governance that you want to set up. Approval, putting in production, monitoring regularly, certifying regularly your content to be sure that you have a control over your content, over your critical content. You still want to keep the flexibility of self-service, anybody doing what they want because they know what they need. But for the things that are used regularly, you need to have process, quality check to be sure that you keep trust for your executive typically. I don't know for you, if you have another experience with Interworks for analytics governance topics.
I mean, I think the thing we end up seeing the most is when we talk to clients, we'll end up seeing like clients working on pieces of that, not necessarily the whole item. And it may not necessarily be like, oh, I know I need to get analytics governance in place. It's really a natural thought that a lot of people in this space have is, yeah, I should have some type of process of how I transfer over dashboards, or I should have some type of process to ensure that what I'm presenting is the right number to our executive staff. But it doesn't necessarily ring true that this is part of that analytics governance and the importance of having it. So I think that's the part that we see is that most people pick out parts of it and then they're missing some of the other elements.
I had also a client, they were using live data for the traders to be able to take some decision on what they wanted to buy or not. And they wanted to certify every 5 minutes. Because for them, it was important that if you trade something, you need to be sure that you do the good deal. If you have bad data, it's a huge risk for your company. So they were doing a lot of regular certification on their content to move forward. The key takeaways that you can expect from the white paper is really a 360 vision of analytics governance. So why it's necessary, how to get started, what are the main concepts, and probably you already implemented some in your company. You have a few pieces, and on some other you might have, oh, I didn't use that we could do data cataloging or embedding, and I need to add some BI testing, automatically validating my content. Step-by-step guide. You will know how to get started, and you might not start everything. You will not do it at the high level from the beginning, but you will start with small pieces, and you will have a good overview of what you need to think about. To not forget that, yeah, if you want it to be successful, you need to think about also your, I don't know, company strategy. If you want to go in the BI, now AI strategy or self-service, that you need to be careful about proliferation of data source, who is the manager, the owner of the content, how you manage your stale content, because stale content are consuming resources, impacting the performance. So you might need to be sure that you monitor this kind of things. It will help you to lower the risk, improve your business satisfaction because they trust more your analytics, they will use it more, and you will speed up your delivery of bugs because you know what is the source, what is not working, as well as monitoring your content overall. Continuous process for improvement. What we try to do is really to do it regularly. You want to continuously do it. You will find concrete use cases. It's what Michael presents you. Embedded analytics, generative AI, enterprise scale analytics. How can you play? Which part of analytics governance will help you in this kind of topics? And you will improve your BI strategy implementation.
I also think it's like a great way just to do an assessment. If you have your practice and you want to take some time, sit down, go through this material and just see what you have, because you probably do have some of that stuff. See what's missing, see what the importance level is on that, and then start to make a strategy from there. It's a great assessment tool to go through.
Sorry. And what we try to do with this also is really to, what we explain is if you want to have a proper analytics governance setup, you need from the start to implement it, and you need to think about automation from the start too, because you don't want to. We discussed with some company, they do some continuous monitoring in production for the executive dashboard, but every week, one people is spending 2 hours checking that everything is working. You don't want to do this. It's not a successful analytics governance implementation. What you want is automation, control, and you just want to be warned when something is not working, not checking every day and forgetting to check something. You want to do it automatically from the start with a nice setup implemented. You can get in touch with us anytime. I think it's the end for the presentation for us. The white paper is really here to explain you everything that is necessary. We stay available to discuss all these topics. If you want to get in touch, don't hesitate to contact Michael, myself. Bruno is one of our sales also if you want more information on the product. The paper itself, I will just put it back, but the white paper itself, it's nothing about our product, it's really on the concept of analytics governance. It doesn't mean that you need to go with Wiiisdom of Interworks, it's just that it's our knowledge on the topics, and it's what we want to bring to you on what is analytics governance. Then you decide if it's something that makes sense, if we can help you or not.